Now at 5, Pitt State announces a partnership with the KBI to bring a new crime lab to the university. Plus, a look at trends for seasonal hiring among area employers and
Hamas releases more hostages during the 7th day of the temporary ceasefire with Israel. I'm Natalie Brand with the U.S. Secretary of State's message during his latest trip to the region.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Pitt State will partner with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation to create a state-of-the-art regional crime center and laboratory. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. In making the announcement today, PSU said the facility will serve law enforcement and at the same time provide educational opportunities. The university says it'll expand its education offerings in the criminal justice field with the expected goal of doubling the number of graduates. The new facility is still in the planning and funding stages, but it's targeted for the Pittsburgh Research Park just off of South Rouse Avenue. The estimated cost, $40 million, which would be provided from a mix of state and federal funds. The timeline calls for groundbreaking in January of 2025, completion in July of 2026. We're going to have much more on what this facility will offer tonight at 6. The holidays can be a time for people to look for a secondary form of income or start a new job completely. According to Southeast Kansas Works, around this time of year, many people might be looking for additional forms of income, but there are still more job openings than job seekers.
A shortage of job seekers. There's more jobs available than there are job seekers to fill them. So yes, it's become a very big challenge for employers to find the right kind of the technical help that they need.
For employment services, you can contact Kansas Works over the phone or through their website. All services are free of charge. City of Pittsburgh today hosted an open house for residents to learn more about a new proposed floodplain map. The Kansas Department of Agriculture and FEMA are working with the city to gather public input on the project. The changes are important because they impact flood insurance rates for homeowners.
A lot of what drives the changes is using an updated topography. So we're using LiDAR data in the maps now, which is a lot more accurate than the maps previously that we had, because those maps were from 2009 and they weren't done on as accurate as a topography. And so they're a lot more up to date now and depicting where the water goes during a flood.
You do still have time to attend the meeting if you're in the area. It runs until 6:30 at Fire Station Number 1 on 4th Street in Pittsburgh. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a chilly, kind of raw, nasty day for us today. We've had the clouds all day long and on and off showers, especially on the Missouri side as we have worked through the afternoon hours. Temperatures haven't warmed up too much. Most of us have been sitting into lower 50s throughout the afternoon, and it's been a little breezy at times as well. We've had these southeasterly winds, 5 to 15. These winds are actually going to pick up a little bit as we go through the overnight hours tonight. All right, look at the rain. We got the rain, especially in southwestern Missouri, but also picking back up in northeastern parts of Oklahoma. So this rain is going to increase as we go through the overnight hours. Most of the metro fairly dry at this time, but again, rain will start to really increase as we go through the evening hours. Even some thunderstorms mixed in. Of course, nothing strong or severe, but a very wet evening. We're going to be talking about how long this is going to be sticking around here in just a bit.
See you soon. Hamas freed more hostages today, hours before the latest extension in the Israel-Hamas ceasefire was set to expire. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in the region pushing for the release of more hostages, as well as an increase in humanitarian assistance to Palestinian civilians in Gaza. Natalie Brand reports.
21-year-old Mia Shem ran into her mother's arms Thursday night. She was one of the hostages Hamas released on the 7th day of the temporary ceasefire. But new violence has heightened tensions. Israeli police said 3 people were killed in a shooting at a bus stop in Jerusalem. Hamas claimed responsibility. The attack came a day after Palestinian officials said Israel Defense Forces killed 2 boys during a raid in the West Bank.
We're reminded yet again by the events in Jerusalem today of the threat from terrorism that Israel and Israelis face every single day.
During his fourth trip to Israel since the October 7th attacks, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken pushed to extend the pause in fighting.
This process is producing results. It's important, and we hope that it can continue.
Blinken also traveled to the West Bank and met with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. The White House says the two men discussed efforts to surge humanitarian assistance into Gaza and discussed improving the security and freedom for Palestinians in the West Bank. In Gaza, where the Hamas-run media says the fighting has destroyed more than 60% of homes, Palestinians took advantage of the lull in airstrikes to shop for food and supplies. This man says people are scared of the fighting resuming. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed Thursday to continue the war until all the hostages are out and Hamas no longer poses a threat. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The government media office in Hamas-run Gaza said it's calling on the international community to set up field hospitals for the sick and wounded. The House of Representatives is expected to vote today or tomorrow on whether to expel Republican George Santos. The New York representative addressed a crowd in front of the Capitol this morning and remains defiant. This will be the third attempt to expel Santos, who faces 23 federal corruption charges. Still ahead, the American Academy of Pediatrics has a warning about potential hearing damage for kids and teens. Plus, what a new report shows about life expectancy in the U.S. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, U.S. life expectancy rose last year, but it still isn't back to where it was before the COVID pandemic. The CDC says average life expectancy climbed by more than a year to 77 years and 6 months in 2022. A partial recovery after dropping 2.4 years during the pandemic. The statistic is considered a key measure of the health of the U.S. population. The American Academy of Pediatrics is sounding the alarm on excessive noise that kids and teens are exposed to, warning that it might have permanent consequences. Reporter Nick Calloway speaks with the lead author about the worst culprits.
The world is a loud place. We are constantly exposed to excessive noise levels. Some of it is unavoidable. Others, not so much. Most parents have given in at some point to those devices.
It's hard to get these things away from them.
My daughter has earbuds in her ears at all times, unless she's lost them.
Experts say those earbuds are usually too loud. A new study from the American Academy of Pediatrics shows that many kids are exposed to potentially harmful noise from infancy, and the effects can last a lifetime.
Once hearing is lost, that is generally permanent.
Dr. Sophie Balk is a pediatrician at the Children's Hospital at Montefiore and the lead author of the new study on noise.
It could be immediately after like a loud blast, like an explosion, but more likely it's due to repeated exposures over time to less loud noises, but noises that are still too loud.
Like those headphones. The study also noted concerns about infants' exposure to sleep machines or sound machines.
If you are going to use a sleep machine, set it at the lowest volume possible, for the shortest time possible, and set it as far away from the baby as possible.
In addition to turning down the volume, experts say it's a good idea for kids and teens to take listening breaks and use earbuds with caution. Nick Calloway, CBS News, Montclair, New Jersey.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says anytime you have to raise your voice to speak with someone an arm's length away, well, that's considered too loud of an environment for both adults and for children. People who are positive, extroverted, and conscientious are less likely to be diagnosed with dementia. Researchers at UC Davis say the results show personality itself doesn't cause or prevent dementia, but it does influence our behavior. People who are conscientious might be more likely to eat well and take care of their health, for example, and more positive people might be better at coping with and working around neurological impairments. And that is a look at today's health news. Doug is next with a complete look at your forecast. And a little bit later, Elon Musk has a message for companies pulling their advertisements from X.
All right, right. Well, it definitely turned out to be a wet, kind of nasty day for us today. I've been under the weather this week as well. That's why I'm at home. But rain chances really going up as we go through the evening into the overnight hours for us tonight. You can see those chances really going up over the next few hours, and then we'll slowly taper off as we go into the daytime hours for us tomorrow as we just kind of back down to drizzle. All right, looking outside, look at the showers. Even a few embedded thunderstorms have been increasing over the past several hours. Heaviest rain, at least through the afternoon, has been on the Missouri side. Of course, where you see the yellows and the oranges, that's where we're getting at least moderate rain across the region. Let's go ahead and zoom in. So this is very light showers and drizzle. Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Erie, Parsons, Independence over toward Pittsburgh. If we go a little bit farther toward the east, you can see the rain picks up east of the I-49 corridor. So really from Carthage, Sarcoxy, Avila over toward Mount Vernon, the rain is really increasing. Most of Joplin, just some very light showers into southwestern Missouri. A little bit heavier once you get over toward Aurora, Monette, and Cassville, and then back through northeastern Oklahoma. A little thunderstorm trying to pick up just south of Bonita. So these are increasing and will continue to increase and push off toward the north and to the east as we go through the rest of the evening hours. All right, let's go through time. Look at the showers, a few random thunderstorms increasing. Here's 8:30 p.m. Again, nothing strong, nothing severe. Let's go a little bit farther into the night. Here's about the midnight hour. Now the heaviest rain is along and north of Interstate 44. As we continue through the overnight hours, by 4 a.m. the heaviest rain is out of the region, but we still have some light showers around. And even starting the day tomorrow, all the persistent rain is gone, but we're going to have the drizzle across the region. All right, rainfall amounts. Yeah, I think most of us will do pretty good, probably a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch in spots, which would be nice because we definitely need the rain. Temperatures right now, it's chilly. Most of us are sitting kind of in that 50 to 51 degree range. And as we go through the rest of the evening hours, showers, few embedded thunderstorms, temperatures hold pretty steady, right around 50 degrees, and then we'll start to drop for us tomorrow. Also a little windy. The winds are going to switch out of the northwest tomorrow, so we're going to have gusts at times 15 upwards to 20 miles per hour, and then the winds will start to die down a little bit for us tomorrow night. All right, so here's wave 1, but wave 2 building out toward Las Vegas. That will give us additional chances for at least a few random showers as we go into Saturday. All right, through the daytime hours tomorrow, just clouds and a little bit of drizzle, but it's going to be another dreary day. A lot of clouds stick around tomorrow night. And then as we go into Saturday, a random shower or two, just mostly cloudy skies. Very light showers, but most likely a few showers popping up. All right, look at tomorrow. We start at 49, but we end up in the lower 40s during the afternoon. So we'll have dropping temperatures on Saturday, back to 58, a few random showers. Sunday, the better of the 2 days of the weekend, holding into the 50s into early next week.
Doug, thanks. The world's largest annual climate summit is underway in the United Arab Emirates, a major oil-producing country. Today, delegates formally approved a deal to adopt a new fund to help vulnerable nations cope with costly climate disasters resulting from drought, floods, rising sea levels, that sort of thing. The UAE has already pledged $100 million to the fund, while the U.S. also pledged a significant amount.
We have been working very, very closely with other Transitional Committee members this entire year in order to design an effective fund that is based on cooperation.
Over the next 2 weeks, world leaders will also try to hammer out a plan to accelerate the transition away from fossil fuels. Coming up, the latest jobs report from the Labor Department. Topping today's Consumer Watch, hiring is slowing and the number of Americans on unemployment has reached a new high for the year. According to the Labor Department, initial jobless claims totaled 218,000 last week. Employers added 150,000 new jobs in October. That's the smallest monthly increase since June. More than 1.9 million Americans are receiving unemployment benefits for more than 1 week. Elon Musk, the world's richest man, well, he has a strong message for companies who don't want to advertise on X. It all comes out on a conversation with the New York Times when he was asked about companies who dropped advertising after Musk endorsed an anti-Semitic post. Reporter Jolene Kent has more.
There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
go yourself.
The billionaire not holding back on Wednesday about companies leaving his social media platform in response to his endorsing an anti-Semitic post on X.
Is that clear? I hope it is.
Even as he acknowledged the revenue loss could sink the company.
What this advertising boycott is going to do, it's going to kill the company.
And do you think that
and the whole world will know that those advertisers killed the company.
Musk sparked major backlash from advertisers when he replied to an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory that claimed Jewish communities are spreading hatred against whites by posting, "You have said the actual truth." On Monday, he visited Israel, meeting with leaders and touring a kibbutz attacked by Hamas on October 7th, and then apologized yesterday.
I should, in retrospect, not have replied to that particular person. It might be literally the worst and dumbest post that I've ever done. Essentially, I handed a loaded gun to those who hate me, and arguably to those who are anti-Semitic. And for that, I'm quite sorry. That was not my intention.
Dozens of companies have already stopped advertising on X, including IBM, Apple, Paramount, the parent company of CBS News, and Disney, whose CEO Bob Iger Musk directly chose to call out yesterday.
Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
Jolene Kent, CBS News, Los Angeles.
CBS News reached out to Disney, which had no comment. Instagram's parent company Meta is suing the Federal Trade Commission to block new restrictions on kids' data. The FTC claims Meta has violated terms of a $5 billion privacy settlement from 2020. In May of this year, the FTC placed new restrictions on the company that banned Meta from monetizing the user data of children. In the lawsuit, Meta calls the limitations on an unconstitutional abuse of government power. Google has struck a deal with Canada to pay Canadian publishers for their news content. The agreement resolves tensions between Google and Canada over a controversial law known as C-18. Now, that law requires digital platforms to compensate news publishers for their work. The search giant will pay $73.5 million a year into a fund to be distributed to publishers. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, a Pentagon investigation into service members drinking on the job at military bases. Then on KOAM News at 6, how the post office in Knoll, also known as Noel, Missouri, is preparing for an influx of letters to Santa. Plus, a Fort Scott, Kansas manufacturer announces it will close its doors in 2025. And a couple of Southwest Missouri high schools are competing for state championships this week. We're going to break down those matchups. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Hey, the city of Fort Scott is getting ready for its annual Christmas parade at this very moment. This is a live look at the general area where the parade is going to start, the corner of Wall and National. It'll be followed by the lighting of the mayor's Christmas tree on the north end of Main and some fireworks. Let's check back in with Doug for a final look at the forecast.
Rain sticking around for us tonight. We're going to have periods of showers, even a few thunderstorms, and then just cloudy skies and drizzle for us on Friday. So Friday is going to be another kind of dreary day. A couple random showers popping up on Saturday, but warmer, high temp of 58, 57 on Sunday, and then looking fairly dry, at least through the first half of next week.
Thanks, Doug, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. See you then. Let's make it a great evening.